I've never really, this isn't a proper TED talk, it's just a deeply held belief. I've never, it's like how you understand like people who are like colorblind but don't really know how they see the world or whatever. Like I understand that there are people out there who forget to eat, but as a former fat kid, that is just not a reality that I've ever experienced. Like there is a little clock in my head that is like, it's been like not that much time. It's usually like, oh, it's been a while since you've eaten. I'm like, no, not brain time, clock time. It hasn't.
Right.
Breakfast was 2 hours ago. It's like, yeah, but maybe big lunch. And I'm like, no, let's give it a minute. Like, I'm like,
Tim will
I'm always down to munch.
Tim will personally attest to the fact that like there is some time where he has to remind me to eat. He's like, have you eaten today? Have you eaten today? And it's just like, I'm like, no. And he's like, you need to do that. And I'm like, okay. And it's not that I don't enjoy food. Like I love food and I love to cook and I love to eat. And like sometimes there is nothing more satisfying for me than just like a really nice meal that is like checks all of those boxes of all of the things that I want. But there is times where like I just forget to eat because I'm doing something, or like there was one day, I think Tim was out of town and I cleaned. This was pre-child, when I actually had time to do this kind of stuff. I cleaned for 14 hours. I cleaned our apartment for 14 hours. I started at like, I want to say like 8 in the morning. And then all of a sudden it was midnight. And I was like, oh, okay, I probably should have something to eat now and like take a shower and go to bed. And then I wasn't even hungry. Like I didn't even clock the time. I mean, I got so much done that day though. Do you, okay, here's another question. If you're not
thinking about eating, you just keep going.
You just keep going, right? Okay, here's a question, and maybe it's just me. Do you find joy in cleaning?
No. I find joy in like listening to a good bop and being able to move around, and that's what I do a lot while I'm cleaning.
Right.
But like I enjoy having things cleaned, like having like I enjoy it. Like, oh, this is nice. But, like the process of cleaning is like, yeah, like maybe a 6 on like the enjoyable scale, as in like 5 or below is not that enjoyable. 5, like it's like a C minus. So I'm like, oh, this is all right, but I'm probably gonna want to do something else. But I'm guessing you are a A plus.
That's an A plus for me. Like I find unfathomable joy in cleaning things. Like now, maybe I just jumped on the bandwagon, but when the Marie Kondo show came out, I watched that thing in a day, and like millions of other folks who are not Marie Kondo around the world was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to do that because it's going to, not necessarily that it was going to bring me joy. I was like, I don't know if the whole thing about sparking joy, I was like, I like the concept, but maybe not necessarily to me. I was like, this is the impetus I need to jump on the train. And I got rid of like 10 bags of stuff from our house. It was a delight. I was very, very pleased. There's nothing that pleases me more. That's not true. There are some things that make me happier than that, but like cleaning is up there. And I like love when my space is clean. I read somewhere, and I don't know if I believe in astrology, but they said, like, I'm a Taurus, and they said Tauruses hate other people's mess, but can live in their own filth for like a very long time. And like I can live in my own mess. I'm not there's never like dirty dishes or anything like that kind of stuff out, but I can live in my own mess. But the second there is somebody else's mess, I can't deal with it. Yeah. I hope Tim is watching this and laughing, because no, he's a very tidy person, so that's good.
I mean, I feel like he'd have to be.
I mean, yeah, we have a 2-year-old. Nothing is ever fully clean.
I mean, I was over there. It feels pretty good. It's like,
thank you.
Yeah, it's not feeling lax. Like,
thank you so much. Yeah, we try and keep on top of things.
Oh, one of my fucking buddies over in London, last time I saw him, he had like a 15-month-old or something.
Yeah.
And it's him and his wife, and they're both actors. And I went over and I was like, oh, you got a kid, so you are busy. But I was like, yeah, I guess there's just not a lot of time to clean. And so like one of the things when I was like, I'm just gonna do the dishes for you guys. Like it was like post dinner, I'm like, let me just clean up your kitchen. Because I was like,
you're that delightful friend that when Yeah, that's the kind of friend you want. When you're a parent, you're just like, parents be like, you sit with your kid, I'm gonna do these dishes for you. Like, thank you so much. You like don't have to worry about it. It's very nice.
That's my favorite thing whenever I have to meet family members of romantic others. Like, if I have to go to a big family function, my favorite thing is like, hello grown up, hello grown up, hello grown up. I'm Sean. Ha 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 ha. Where are the kids? Like, let me just hang out with the
Please
kids.
let me hang out with the
Because
children.
I'd much rather talk to children than like adults. Because like most adults,
You're
I'm
great
not
with kids,
interested in.
Sean.
I'm like 6 to fucking 14 is like I can like fucking talk to them and it's great. But that way, like the kids tend to like have fun because we're like fucking yes-anding all over the place, and then B, the parents like me by association because like, oh, you let me just have fun with my like extended
Grown-ups.
family and I didn't have to worry about it. And so like without actually spending time with you, I've endeared myself to you. And so I'm like, this is great. Haha, you think I'm a nice guy. I'm just socially anxious. And like
I find I was
they get a
always
free babysitter for the night.
exactly. It works
It's
for
always
everybody.
a good thing.
my main move when I was before I like when I was other romantic partners would have been to clear plates off the table, and then because I can carry quite a few plates because of days waitressing, and then they would always be like, wow, you can carry so many plates, and then I would make a quip about how, oh, that waitressing has to come in useful, right? And then they laugh and it's great, and then it's in automatically.
You have to have your like just everybody accepts that this is funny, dumb joke.
Yes.
Like, because I love fucking niche jokes, and that's why I don't get on with most adults, because I'm like, let's dig into some weird shit. But like, you need to have your like I call it like a handshake joke. Like, if you're like meeting a businessman, you're like, oh, don't break my hand, or some stupid fucking vanilla garbage that you just need to like throw out that just everyone accepts as like.
Please tell me you say that every single time you shake in a hand. It's just like,
don't give me that vanilla garbage.
No, I actually had to fucking I got on a weird thing when I was younger about like, oh, firm handshakes are like a state like a good thing to have. So I was like, I'm gonna have a fucking firm handshake. And I had a few people be like, fucking ow, like chill out. And so like I had to really dial it in terms of like what is acceptably firm. And I swear to God, I was on a show one time and the AD, the assistant director, at one point like went to shake my hand and he's like, and he went for like the big grip and I've like the real fucking vice grip. And he's like, how old are you? I'm like 25. He's like, yeah, that's a 25 handshake. Feel that? That's a 52-year-old handshake. And I was like, all right. So the next time I saw him, I was like, I mean, I haven't cracked this bad boy out in a minute, but and we did like we were trying to destroy each other.
Break a couple fingers.
And I was like, what culture is this? Like,
I learned something about handshakes today, apparently, from my hairstylist. Apparently, handshakes started to be a thing in the Middle Ages because it was very common for knights and people who fought to carry a dagger in their sleeve. So when you like shook someone's arm, you grabbed their arm like this to see if they were carrying a dagger in there. I was like, you learn something new every day. I liked that. I was like, I didn't know that. Just sharing it. Talk to my hair.
Also, when like a lot of greetings,
check.
we'll have like hands up. This to show I got nothing in my hands. You know, like this sort of action is a sort of cross-cultural greeting.
Yes.
Of like, I'm showing you like a
deference,
vulnerable neck. You can fuck me up, and also I got nothing to attack you with.
Got nothing to attack you with. On that note, I feel like it's a couple.
Speaking of attacking people, I heard a long time ago a bunch of gods and primordials got into it.
Oh, nice! Like just smooth segue into that. Yeah. Are we able to do the intro?
It says it's still disabled.
Okay, then we're not.
Hey everybody, this is Cody.
Cody.
He's the one usually behind the chatWater thing.
Yes.
But today he's in the flesh.
Usually I am the screen that's saying chatwater, we will get there, but today I'm in person saying chatwater, we will get there. Hello.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
We're so excited to have you, Cody.
Place of Giannis. Thank you. I hope Giannis is enjoying his vacation.
Yeah. Saw some really great pictures of his dog looking real great, swimming in a lake.
Such a majestic dog jumping in
that dog
lake.
has appeared on this show once or twice, right? No, because he never shoots from home. Oh,
no. Yeah.
No,
I think the only dog that has made an appearance on this stream so far is Fergus,
that's
my
too bad.
mother-in-law's dog.
That's post
Fergus, yeah.
Blackwater.
Mm,
Because he's like moderating the chat or whatever.
Yes.
And then he'll like join on, and it's this, what is it, Weimaraner? Anyways, it's like a proper dog-shaped dog.
a dog-shaped dog.
It's a real dog's dog.
Well, I'm just look. There are some dogs out there. Like, there's not a breed of dog that I don't like, but you have to admit that some dogs aren't dog-shaped. Like
Welcome to Chatwater. Tonight's episode is dogs, and are they dogs?
Okay,
Yes.
Chihuahuas. Look, Chihuahua's the low-hanging fruit, but that is not a dog-shaped animal.
I feel like last week we talked about siblings, and then this week we're just going to talk about dogs, and then maybe we'll get to talking about the Dawn War actually for real this
Corgis
time.
are one of my favorite, but they're not dogs.
They're not dog shaped.
Same
I
with
don't know. They're
dogs.
medium sized though. Like they're just kind of like
they're
broaching
medium-sized
that
dogs with little dog legs. I'm not upset about the
Okay,
size.
that's
There's
fair.
like terriers are dog shaped but mini. They're fun sized. They're like,
Oh,
if you
so
got
shape not
dogs-
as in size. We're talking
yeah.
about like shape
like
of dog.
proportions. Like
Okay.
Chihuahuas, they head's too big. Like pugs, no neck, not dog shaped. Like no neck, no snout. Like that. Those are important things about a dog. I mean, it's not a giraffe where it's all neck, but like you expect your
Giraffes.
dog to have some.
You heard it
neck.
here
Giraffes
first, folks.
are not
Giraffes
dogs.
aren't dogs.
Look, if a giraffe
There's-
came up to me and said, "I'm a dog," I wouldn't even blink. I would call him out immediately. But fun fact, he couldn't say that because giraffes are like the only mammal that don't have vocal cords. What does a giraffe sound like? You can't say because they don't make vocalizations. They don't like.
You know, we're supposed to be here on Chatwater to tell you about all the wonderful things about our universe, but we're just here to spout random facts that are bonking around inside our heads. It's great.
Here is a little bit of canon for you. There are giraffes in Wolfar, like the continent.
Oh,
But because it's fantasy, they do have vocal cords.
talk.
They talk. They're actually like Kenku. They're not intelligent like Kenku, so they don't understand what they're repeating. But if you say something around a giraffe enough, it will just repeat it. So like particular giraffes have been like the cause of like gorilla uprisings failing because they will hear the gorillas making plans and then repeat it like where like the king's guard can hear it. And so it'll be like, meet in the woods at sunset. We'll kill the king for sure this time. And that'll just repeat as it's munching on those high plants. And yeah. And so like they call them betrayer dogs in Wolfar. Like,
yes.
because like they're bad dogs because they're not dog shaped, but they're bad because they'll also like
bad
just
at being
sell you out.
dogs and bad at being friends.
Yeah,
Yes.
betrayer dogs, narc dogs,
I
long, fashionable horses.
was gonna say not long dog. It's not a dog anymore.
It's not a long dog.
Look,
Oh,
giraffes are a lot of not animals. There's a lot of animals that a giraffe might say they are, and you would not buy for a second because they're all neck. So tell me about the Dawn War.
Well, we're going to acknowledge our wonderful sponsors first. So a big thank you to Legendcraft, our amazing woodworked products sponsor. You can check out them out at legendcraft.ca. And if anything tickles your fancy, 5% off at checkout if you use the code Blackwater. They have some fantastic dice tubes, and we have been in talks with them about some amazing things that you will be seeing on that we'll be able to use on stream, and there might be stuff for giveaways coming down the pipe, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We also are sponsored by Silverwing Armory, which is a fantastic paper products company. Both of those are Canadian. You can head on over to their website at silverwingarmory.ca and check out their Etsy page for fantastic things like campaign notebooks, spell cards, NPC cards, as well as some fantastic hand-drawn postcards and art. So you can use the code Blackwater at checkout for 10% off. And then also our fantastic dice patron, goddess Keisha at Fairy Dragon Dice. You will be seeing many more of those dice being released on our Instagram over the next little while. I'm so excited. Keisha and I have been talking secrets about for secret things for people. So, very exciting. And yeah, exactly. Very exciting. So thank you to all three of those lovely folks. Secrets. Thank you to all three of those wonderful folks for everything they do and for helping us do what we do here. So yeah, that's all I got to say about sponsors.
One more thank you today, not a sponsor, but just shout out to whoever did M's hair.
Thank
It's
you.
Shout
fucking
out.
on point. We talked about it before, but I feel like just it has to be on the internet.
Well,
Like,
thanks,
just
Sean.
give it a little shake. Let it catch the light.
Do you want me to take off my headphones and do
Yes,
a little shake?
I do. Oh yeah. Oh my God, let it out. There it is.
Such a good job.
See,
Yes, thank
fucking
you very, very much.
barbers are open in fucking Vancouver.
Yes, I was masked the entire time, and we
Naturally.
did practice. And when I was not masked, we were socially distant, and it was delightful to sit back in the hairdresser's chair. I will say that much. It is like one of the things that I indulge in, and it's very nice to feel like me again. So it's good.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait to go in and get my haircut. It's gonna be so nice to get this like mop off my head.
I've gone. We need to talk about the Dawn War, but I'm like really torn. I'm like, I've gone this far without cutting it. Like I kind of feel like Forrest Gump. Like, well, I've gone this far, might as well just keep going, and it'll be 3 years later. I'm just down to here. I just
realistically, how long are you ready to go? Just let it grow.
Just like commit,
well, that's
you know?
I just want to go, and then like I'll book something, and then they'll cut it. I'm like, cool. I'm not precious about it. I don't want to cut it because I'm like, I just want to keep the calm. I just like turning
Shake
my
is
head
nice, right?
and like feeling something as a result of it, you know, like fucking
feeling alive.
Like,
you feel alive yet? You feel alive?
Every time I cut my hair and I like turn my head and there's no whip action, I feel like a piece of me is missing. And then like an hour later I've adjusted and it's fine. But
it's fine. But it's that initial hour. Speaking of times gone by, should we probably talk about the Dawn War? Like actually this time?
Okay, Cody, I know it's your first day, but
War.
Yanis's #1 job is to reel me in. I just realized that just now.
I don't know.
That's why it's not just
well
you and me.
Do that.
Sean.
I'll be going on those tangents with you, so we'll see if
so
I
it'll
can
be my job
myself
today. Okay.
Possibly.
Wait,
I'll do my best.
We'll have
Wait,
Adam pop in. And
do we all want to
guys,
trade?
Remember what you were talking about, and then we'll come in.
Cody, you be me, and
Okay.
you be Yanis, and I will be Emma.
You're gonna dish me all of the lore on.
Wait, that's what I do anyways.
You do that anyway. We're all each other. It's fine.
So really, you've just kind of done like a 180 and turned around, like you just turned
I've
around.
done
and
a
be like,
360.
I'm me again.
360 no scope. What's up?
And you're
Let me
yourself
hit you
again.
with some lore.
So I think what Yanis was talking about last week was us starting to talk about the betrayer gods first, because we talked about the prime material gods and the primordials last time. And then we were going to talk about betrayer gods, and then we were going to get into the Dawn War.
Betrayer gods first. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some betrayer gods.
So who are the betrayer gods and what are they about?
What's their deal?
Yeah, what's their deal?
What's their deal? So
asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. P.S. Asking for a friend. So a lot of the stuff around the betrayer gods is taken as well from canonical D&D lore, whether 5th edition or Tim's done some backdigging stuff into 4th and 3.5. Just around a lot of the stuff from the Dawn War, as I said, he was inspired by stuff from 4th edition. Nobody talks about 4th edition because the mechanics were strange, but there's a lot of good lore that came out of 4th edition.
I like 4th edition.
I'll
put myself on blast and say I liked 4th edition. I thought it was cool to have at-wills, encounter powers, and daily powers. Fucking sue me. It was nice having all the cards. I liked it. Everyone felt like a wizard because you know what? Wizard is the funnest class to play. I don't give a fuck.
I
said
strongly disagree. Cleric is the best class to play, and we will fight that
Sorry,
out
I don't know.
time.
Monk is pretty good. You can just kind of do whatever you want. Like you're so fast.
I feel like that's a whole nother episode where all of us need to come on and just like panel why our class that we play is the best.
Casters.
Class.
Casters are everything, but I get it. Not everyone wants all the. Okay, it doesn't matter. I like 4th E. Let's move on. Let's talk about these fucking betrayer gods. They betrayed us. They betrayed us. And we don't know anything about them.
Who did they betray?
Who did they betray?
They betrayed us. We the people.
Yanis leaves for 1 week and we're off the rails. So
I never realized how
everything's in flames.
Critical it was to have him.
So we'll start talking about the ones we've been talking about most
Drop some
often.
names. Let's talk.
Tharizdun.
We know Tharizdun.
Yeah.
Chained
What's his
Oblivion.
deal?
Okay, his thing, what the fuck is even the god of? Because all we know is he's like chained up in bad news.
He is chained up, yes, but where is he chained up? That's the
he's chained up in the abyss.
Yes.
He's chained up in the abyss.
Yes.
And because I'm like, yeah, what was his life outside of bars? Like, how did he exist with all the other gods pre getting all locked up? And
well, I have some information about that when we start talking about Dawn War stuff, but you're right. He is the god of the abyss. And then there's we've had interactions.
He's just Satan. Like, he's just fantasy Satan.
Well, he is a demon, not a devil.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
So his whole thing is he's like, hey, I'm the god of the abyss, but he's not like a prime material god where he's like, I'm the god of debauchery and
he is one of
multi-level marketing.
He is he was one of the like main pantheon of gods. He is just a bad one and has thus been banished to the abyss for his badness.
I'm too curious to make a funny. What was he the god of before he was banished?
I have absolutely no idea.
No, that's the juice we need. All right, it falls to me. Okay.
Well, it's like I'm only going by what the information, like I know more stuff about these gods from canonical D&D lore, but what I'm trying to present here is the stuff that like our characters would know, that we would come across, or the information that's out there in the world. Like we may at some point.
We don't want to drop spoilers.
We don't want to drop spoilers we don't even know about, I guess, is the thing there. Because there is probably more stuff written about the Chained Oblivion, but it's a matter of us coming across it.
I mean, I don't think we've yet to have a god of like domesticated animals. We have a god of like the hearth and stuff. And as we know, Tharizdun loves his goat boys.
He does.
So I feel like he's at least the god of petting zoos, but he's evil. So he's those petting zoos where you come and you're like, this is going to be fine. And then all the goats are really aggressive.
I was going to say, I don't know if you've ever been to a petting zoo, but those places are pretty much the abyss to me.
They're all headbutting you in the shin. It's really annoying.
Abyss. That's what the abyss is like. So yeah, so like the interaction we've had with Tharizdun is all of the stuff with Velsum. So the Chained Oblivion was Velsum's patron in essence, because Velsum was a pact warlock, but just made a pact with a god that had locked away. There's no real like, the only temple or like worshiping place we found of the Chained Oblivion was that tower outside of Barmwich where Spooky first found her pants. But we were in there and we went down into the basement, found a bunch of like really undead cultists, and Spooky's pants got activated when we somebody spilled blood on the floor, and her pants got more powerful.
Whoa! I just had a thought. I was like, "What does Tharizdun actually want?" And from what I could tell, he wanted to bring the abyss to the prime material plane.
Yeah.
Which makes, because we haven't talked about this in the deep lore, but I believe that the what is it? The war between demons and devils.
The Blood War.
The Blood War is like all encompassing.
It's a thing.
And it's like it's always going on, and like you have demons and devils at a standstill. What if Tharizdun was just like, man, I wish I could take my lovely demons somewhere where we didn't have to deal with devils. And so his whole thing was like, let me just get my boys to the prime material plane, and then the devils can have the abyss, we can have the prime material plane, and we can live in harmony.
The Blood War is more of a thing on Ishion. So the Blood War is impacting more stuff over on the continent of Ishion right now than it is on Wolfar.
See, so that's why he wanted to get involved.
That's where stuff on the Blood War is playing out. Somebody is trying to summon. No, I don't know if I can spoil that.
I don't know anything about this. Like, you can't spoil that.
That sounds like some deep lore.
It's some deep lore. I don't know.
No, that's current events.
It's current events on a different continent. So maybe I should save that. I'll save that.
Keep those words in your mouth.
Keep those in my. So tell me about Zahir.
Oh, I've heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Zahir?
What's his deal?
Well, he was there, but then then he showed up, and now he's Zahir.
Now he's
Zahir. Man, Zahir. Let me tell you about Zahir.
Zahir and now, who is he?
Zahir now is I'm gonna take a shot at it. I'm saying this guy's Satan. He's the god of devils. He's like the devil boy, and he's all about like lawful evil. Yes, he is.
Okay.
And whereas the Chained Oblivion is all about petting zoos, Zahir is about zoological pets. And so he summons animals that want to pet humans. But you know how like lions, their tongues are like so covered in spikes that if they were to lick you, they could lick your face off. And so he is the close talker of the bad gods. He's all about like expressing affection, but he, as an evil god, has no sense of personal space, or rather delights in getting inside people's bubbles. It's like you can imagine
like almost nose touching, just like
yeah.
Right
You can imagine that like if you were to go underwater and you had like a little bubble of air, you're like, I've got my little bubble of air. This is how I breathe. Zahir, that's how he lives all the time. But those bubbles of air around our heads, he doesn't have one of those. So
Like,
he has to get close to people, otherwise he will drown in
sadness.
Just demon juice, which is sort of it's kind of like dark energy, where like it doesn't have mass unless you're a demon.
I feel like half of my job is to find like the joy in the very small things that you get somewhere close to right.
And then Tim's job is to make all of this true.
Yes. We've been given too much power on this show. So Zahir is the serpent god. So he's the god of snakes. He's the god of poison. He's also the god of assassins, like evil assassins. So when he was talking about getting right up close and no personal space, I was like, yeah, that kind of clocks.
I mean, as opposed to all those good assassins.
Yeah, like heroic assassins out there. I don't know.
Well, we've talked about lawful good. If a good god says it's good, then thus it is.
So there is a temple to Zahir in the Labyrinth of Glass. And that is really all we know. Otherwise, a lot of lizard folk, like Wanti, worship Zahir, some lizard folk, but primarily Wanti. So yeah, that's all we know about Zahir. Asmodeus. Tell me about Asmodeus.
Oh my god. Okay, this is where I've seen these. They're in the monster manual. They're
are
actual creatures. Asmodeus. Oh my god.
A lot of it is in Mordenkainen's also.
Yeah. That's the big devil one. I dropped my thing I was fiddling with, and I put my hammer away. Oh wait, I got it.
You have so many fiddly things. I love it.
Well, no, I cleaned my whole apartment, and so I usually just fiddle with whatever's available. But there's not stuff available. Anyways, okay. Asmodeus. Oh, fucking Asmodeus? Oh, is he the big goop? He's the big goop. I'm going to trust my instinct. He's the big goop. He's a big goop. He's a big goop. I'm trying to find another way to describe him, but I can't.
Did you mix up Asmodeus and Osmosis Jones?
No, Osmosis Jones is a cool goop. He's a real slick goop. He's a fast-talking goop. He's a loose cannon of a goop. Asmodeus is a big goop. And he is the he's the god of slimes. He's the god of anything thicker than milk.
So specific.
And that's whole milk. Whole milk.
Anything
okay, so whole milk doesn't even count.
Yeah,
it has to be thicker than that.
He's not the god of milk.
Unless it's like a few weeks old, in which case, whoa, look who belongs to Asmodeus. So like. And this is whole cow milk. So seal milk tragically does belong to Asmodeus because it is thicker than cow milk.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, think about it, because they need all the fat. Because seal milk, delicious. If you can ever just get just straight off the teat, like, oh, it's a delicacy.
Anyway, that tracks.
Asmodeus is actually Lord of the Hells, so he is like.
He is the
devil.
Satan.
Yeah, so he rules over. Yeah, he's essentially.
Is he a big goop though?
No, he's not a big goop. You're thinking of somebody else who is a demon, not a devil. So yeah, so Asmodeus is Lord of the Hells and of all devils, and all that kind of good stuff.
What does he look like? What's he got?
I don't know. We haven't seen any depictions of what he looks like in this universe.
No, we don't know.
I'm assuming there's horns. That's an assumption on my part.
Maybe he's a little slimy. I mean, we don't necessarily know that he's not goop-ish.
Can't rule it out.
He's just a massive lactating seal.
Tell me about Bane. And don't make jokes about that.
Yeah.
About 6 flashed through my head, and I had to resist them all as low-hanging fruit. All right, let me talk about Bane. Bane, despite not being Batman related, is a big boy. He's a big man.
Yes.
He's a big manimal. He's a big man animal, and he has big scary teeth, and he is the god of pain. And so everyone says like, no pain, no bane. And that's what all his acolytes say when they go around, and they just want to bring pain to the world, be it physical, emotional, financial, theological.
Right.
Every god needs a catchphrase, and that's a pretty good one.
No pain, no bane.
No pain,
No
no bane.
pain, no bane. Bane is actually the god of war.
Wait, don't we already have one of those? That's Cord.
Yeah, he's the bad one. He's the bad god,
As
like the
opposed to
evil
all
god
those
of war.
good wars.
As
He's
opposed
actually-
to the good
all the
war,
good wars.
yeah.
But he's actually Cord's brother.
Oh,
Bane is
fun.
Cord's brother. Yeah. So that's what we know about Bane. Tell me about Torog.
Torog is the four-headed ogre king whose mouths always try to eat each other, but they can't quite reach because they're all on the same head. Or sometimes they do, but then it's an ogre, so it grows a new one somewhere else on the body. And Torog is the god of hiccups. Because hiccups are bad.
Right.
Because you eat too fast and then you get hiccups. I don't know. Because they're bad people, so I can't even like think of what like. You tell me about Torog.
Torog is also depicted as a giant like worm like
Oh, he's goopy.
beast. He's a bit more goopy. He is the god of the Underdark, also known as the Crawling King.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the god of
Oh yeah, I have
everything
seen that guy. He's bad news.
Yeah. Tell me about Tiamat.
Oh, Tiamat, I know. Tiamat's an absolute classic. That goes back to like first edition
Yes.
D&D.
Yes.
It's all the chromatic dragons as a Hydra.
Yes.
5-headed dragon, fucking red, white, blue, black, green.
Yeah.
Bad news. God of the rainbow. Tragically, like, wait, no, I'm gonna slow that one down. He is rainbow colored though.
She.
Oh,
She.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Tiamat is actually the goddess of greed. So she is a dragon goddess.
Oh, that
she's
makes sense.
Sister
Dragon
of
horde.
Bahamut. And she's the daughter of Io. There is not a lot of lore about her in this world that we know about, but we do know from the stuff that we've encountered about Io that she is the daughter of Io. Yeah, so that's about what we know. Vecna.
Oh, I didn't know Vecna was god status.
He is god status in this one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Vecna was an uplifted, magic practitioner turned lich turned, I guess, god somehow. I don't know how one transitions from one to the other.
That's actually well, I literally have written in my notes that we don't actually know about much about Vecna, but we do know Vecna is one of the betrayer gods. We don't know much about him at all. There's not much about there in the lore. Yeah.
See, that's wild to me because like Vecna was a dude. Like theoretically, like if Bakal like became like hoity-toity enough, he could uplift himself, and then you just get to choose. Like all gods need to have a domain, and so like
where would he have chosen? Yeah,
I don't know. Like maybe he had a hobby that he was like, I can't. Maybe he's like the god of liches, but that seems too on the nose. But he's like, look. Like now that I've succeeded in godhood, like that's what my dad always wanted me to do, but now's my time to like for me to follow my passion.
To shine. Yes.
And so, he's like the god of gluten-free baking now.
Maybe it's just on a beach somewhere, just
good
chilling.
job,
Like
Vecna.
you've
Well
reached
done.
god status, right?
Yeah, once you achieve godhood, it's really hard to get that taken away from you. And like if you want to be worshipped, come out with some fucking gluten-free goodies. Like if you get that pie crust that the people are like, oh my god, this is great crust, and you're like, it's gluten-free. They're like, I would have never guessed. Like that's
I will sell my soul to you forever. Forever. Yeah. I will worship you always.
For gluten-free muffins. We've all done it at one point or another.
Tell me about Lolth.
Drider Queen. We know this one. Oh boy, do I know this one. Lolth is the drow queen. She's drow on top, which is dark elf with the white hair and the dark blue skin, and then legs on the bottom. Like you got the thorax, and what's the other part of bugs?
The abdomen.
Insects have
There's the head, the abdomen, and the thorax.
Yeah, but that's
that
insects. Fucking. So I think it's just thorax on spiders.
Probably.
Yeah, arachnids, scorpions, spiders, animal facts. They just have head and thorax. So yeah, it's just thorax and then like lady top on top.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess she's just like the goddess of drow. But she's very much in the prime material plane.
Yes. Yeah, she's definitely one of the betrayer gods. And what we know about her is that she's known as the Spider Queen. We don't know much about her relationship to drow at this point, also because there is other lore in this world about the drow, with respect to the Saracite, the crystal that Finnan gains a lot of his power from, and Relauven has a lot to do with the drow. So I'm excited, and like I think I know a lot of lore about that.
Wasn't there talk of like a civil war in Relauven's backstory?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well then that's Wolf. Like she's there. Relauven lost. I'm calling it right now. There was a civil war. Relauven lost. He doesn't remember it all necessarily.
Relauven was assassinated.
Probably by maybe not Lolth herself, but like one of her goonies.
Maybe. Yeah, who knows?
And then okay. Well, I mean, Adam's listening right now. He's moderating chat, but I think that's probably gonna, if we like fulfill Adam's like full thing, like now that he's like spreading the word of
spreading that good word.
Spreading that good word. I bet the way it'll come up is, your fucking sugar daddy had enemies, and they're upset that you're bringing them back. You have earned the ire of Lolth.
We gotta go find some more Saracite. Yes, many bones to pick with that. And we got to find some more Saracite. And we got to find the top of his spear.
Who has it all? Probably Lolth, because she keeps the trophies from her killers. Yeah, we're going to have to fight some Driders.
I think so. I think it was something I love about this campaign, and I'm so curious to see what it's like when we do when we get to campaign 2, is like the gods in this campaign are so close and they're so involved with aspects of stuff on Wolfar, at least the ones that we've encountered, are like, will the gods be as involved, or will they be more tangential or kind of like farther reaching? Kind of that kind of stuff. I'm really.
How many of the gods has the party encountered?
Well, Tharizdun we've seen in the Abyss. Arathis and Nepthisiket, the matron of the Raven Queen / matron of vengeance.
Melora's presence has definitely been felt.
Yes, she has for sure. We've Akkadi of the primordials. We've met Akkadi. We've had stuff around Grumbar. We've seen Estitia, and I don't think there's been any of the other goddesses, and folks are going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's been any of the other gods or goddesses that we've had much interaction with, like come down or anything like that. I haven't seen anything else. Mostly Arathis and Nepthisiket, just based on Kokani and Nepi.
Right, mostly the gods that you guys are, I guess they would be your patrons.
Yeah, or like we worship them. Yeah,
right.
Are as high priest and high priestess.
We should set up a god mixer,
A god mixer. Yes.
Yeah, like talk to like Nepi and Arathis and be like, yo, I bet like the rest of the gods what if you guys just had a night off for you? Like, we'll set it up. You guys just show up, we know some great people. We'll provide
Yana build the mansion in neutral ground.
I think some of the gods, obviously have some, even of the prime material gods, have beef with each other. I know Nepthisiket and Paylor don't really get along. I know they don't get along.
Let's get a community center. Let's get all the gods together, lock them in, and just sort of hash it out. I bet they have a lot more in common than they have not in common.
I think that's actually kind of a nice segue, because the last time they probably all got together and did something collectively was the Dawn War. That was the last time these gods really had to interact with each other.
Are we done with the bad gods?
That's it. That's all the bad gods.
Oh, do we not have that double-headed baboon?
Groomsh?
I don't know. You tell me. I know that a classic D&D big bad is this two-headed baboon. He's like the evil Melora. He's like the deep woods. And he's got a tentacle hand, and he's like.
I think he's one of the arch or higher up demon lords.
Okay, but
but
doesn't
I
count
don't
as a god.
doesn't count as a god. Yeah, like the Chained Oblivion would be the only god of the abyss, and the other ones are like lords.
I believe
because
that gentleman was on the cover of the 4th edition Monster Manual. 4E was good. Come at me. Sorry.
And like Morden Canaans is I think I remember seeing that creature or that demon lord in Morden Canaans, and a lot of those, and like even the rulers of each of the levels of hell, there are different rulers of hells. There's we know of Mammon on the 3rd level of hell, and we know of Zariel on the 1st level of hell. So that we know that there are like archdevils and stuff, but they're not gods.
They're not here for this episode.
They're not
here
for
we're
this
talking about the
episode.
betrayer gods, not
yes.
their deputies.
Not the betrayer lackeys.
Not the betrayer lackeys. So I have split the Dawn War up into a couple different parts. So we have the stuff that happened pre-Dawn War. We have the adventures in Amonkhet, which kicked off the Dawn War. Then we have then the actual Dawn War itself, because what happened in the adventures in Amonkhet kicked off the Dawn War. Then we have what changed and how it changed the world and afterwards. And that's basically the rest of what we're going to talk about tonight. It's gonna be great.
What happened pre-Dawn War?
Pre-Dawn War. So the primordials crafted the world from themselves. So Grumbar, Istishia, Akkadi, and Garrix created the world and the prime material plane. They created that from parts of themselves and had many, many, many years of harmony and did pretty great. And then people started, and different types of humanity arose, and then they thus started creating new gods and started worshiping new different powers. So, for example, as the Caraxians grew as a nation or like an empire, so did Arathis in her power. So the more widespread the Caraxians got, the stronger Arathis got. And like a very, very long time ago, there was actually a first sealing away of the betrayer gods in their like various planes of existence. The gods each gave a piece of themselves to do this, and those are actually the 7 seals that were originally on the list of the 7 that Velsum broke many of as he tried to release the Chained Oblivion. Sean, do you remember any of the seals?
Absolutely. Hand of Io.
Yes.
Titan of
Who broke that one?
Skablunk.
Who broke that one?
Me. No. That was broken by, I don't know, Kokane's dad.
Velsum. Yes.
Oh yeah, Valsigity.
And that was the one that kicked off the Dawn War, and the Hand of Io. So each of the gods gave a part of themselves.
Oh yeah, we did that.
We did that, and we'll talk about how that happened in a moment.
You started the war.
We started the war.
I wasn't there for that actually.
No, you.
My character got locked away in a pocket dimension, and then I got a new one to fight for the good guys at the end.
Yes, that's right.
My conscience is clear.
Sir Herbert's is not.
Yeah,
we'll
he's
talk
in
about
hell.
that. He might be in hell. He might be.
He's with Torin and his family.
Torin and his fucking family. So the Hand of Io was broken by Velsum at the very start of the Dawn War. That was the event that kicked off the Dawn War, and that was originally the power of Io. Io gave part of herself to make that seal to initially seal the betrayer gods away.
So all the betrayer gods were sealed away?
I know that at least the Chained Oblivion was sealed away, but
that
they
makes
didn't.
Sense.
Yes,
I feel like he has no redeeming qualities versus like we're talking about like Cord and Bane. Like they're bros. They both love war. I'm guessing Bane was a little more slaughtery about it, but that's how it goes.
Tim will have to provide a little bit of insight about, like, I know that it was the gods gave a lot of part of themselves to seal the Chained Oblivion away. I don't have any information about whether they sealed other gods away, but I know that those other gods don't have a lot of power or stakes. They don't have a lot of foothold in the world of, like, on the continent of Wolfar, at least. So there's not, or like
well,
they
maybe
might
not
have,
now.
Maybe not now. Maybe
hear
they
me
did.
Out. Hear me
Go
out.
ahead.
Because if we don't know about this, then it's just wild speculation, and that's what I'm here for. Because like, look, here's the thing. Everybody dislikes the Chained Oblivion.
Yes,
we don't like him.
Universally disliked.
Everyone hated that.
He's a big goop.
Everyone hated that.
Everyone hated him. And so like the popular kids, like who are now the gods, they all banded together like, we'll seal him away. The now betrayer gods are like, well, we're not about like, we don't like this guy, but we're not going to seal anybody up. And so like, I imagine back in the day before all that business happened with Velsum and the rest, like, you know, the betrayer gods were out. They had their small followings. I mean, I imagine a god of greed probably did pretty well.
Probably.
I'm curious what Tiamat's relationship was with what's their name?
Avandra?
Avandra. Like greed and chance. Ooh.
Yes.
I bet they touched mouths a couple times. Like
there was a lot of
at one of those god mixers. Just a little
little kissing and an after god mixer, yes.
If you were kissing someone with 5 heads, like
one at a time?
Moving on.
The logistics of that we just can't get into.
It's too much for this.
I definitely can, but that'll just be that's not the show. That's not what this show is.
Do you know any of the other seals that were broken?
Yeah, there's the Titan of Jubi. There's Ubtao. That's right.
Ubtao. We do not know who contributed the Titan. The Titan
Process
is a seal.
Of elimination.
No,
Hand of
because
Io from Io.
Not all the gods gave something.
Oh.
Only some of them did. So we don't know who contributed Ubtao, and he is still sleeping in the jungles of Clore. Still there, still a seal, an active seal. Yeah.
There was the coin of Avation, the person we just named.
It's not Avandra.
Abadu.
It's Ayun. Ayun is just.
Ayun went with a coin?
Yeah, the coin was broken by the Matron of Vengeance, potentially accidentally when we released her from the tomb.
Coin?
It was the Aegis the Displaced. He was the prime guardian of it, and he was carrying the coin. And like a lot of the seals are quite like. They're supposed to be innocuous small objects.
Yeah, I guess it was like a magnifying glass then I'd be like, oh, that's probably Ayun's seal.
Yeah, so that was Ayun's seal. That was the coin. So there are 5 others.
Well, we've got the High Priestess's Grace.
That's a new one, so that's not part of the original 7. Yes,
bonus point.
The Grace of the High Priestess is a new one.
There's the Key of Arathis.
Yes, and that one is now in Kokanei's chest, and Arathis contributed that one.
Rod of Murbib. There's
are you talking about the Artisan's Hammer?
Yep, that big rod that he had. That one.
Yeah,
time.
So that was taken from a temple of in Tor-En by Alamir. So we actually Nepi scried on Alamir and saw him take it, and that was in a temple in Tor-En, and that was Moradin who contributed the Artisan's Hammer.
See, that feels very on brand. That's why it got found so easily.
Yeah, it was in an abandoned, desecrated temple in the region that is like Moradin is the patron god. That feels right. It clocks. Yeah. And so we've named the Hand of Io, the Artisan's Hammer, the Key, the Coin, Ubtao, and we've got 2 more.
There was the Chapstick of Destiny.
There was the Eye of the King.
Yeah, which it's also known as.
Yes.
AKA Chapstick of Destiny.
Yes.
Same thing.
So the Eye of the King was a giant.
Sort of rub it.
You rub a giant ruby all over you. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes you so luscious.
Taken
it's technically lip gloss, not lip balm, but you know.
So luscious and destined.
Yeah, luscious and so destined. It was taken from the King's Cauldron in Cinderfall, that temple that we popped into when we were attempting to destroy Velsum's phylacteries. So that
Back up a second.
Yep.
You can hallow items, right? Like you can make an item holy.
I mean, with the drill, yeah.
Not necessarily with the spell, but like
you can consecrate an item. Yes.
Can you consecrate people, or just like something? If you like, this is like a holy item, and you like, if you're rubbing on your lips, do you get like holy lips for an hour?
I don't think that's how it works.
Do you get holy kisses? Like,
No.
it's like if you
No.
kiss someone with your holy lips, can they not go to hell if they die in the next 10 minutes?
No, that's
Yeah,
not
is it
how
just
that works.
it's the lip gloss of blessing? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what the spell bless
That
does.
is my next paladin.
Kisses people with, and that's how
That's
you
how
bless
you, that's how you
people.
cast bless.
It's the lip gloss of blessing. Yeah.
I feel like you have to
It's
be
a
like an
touch
oath,
spell.
the oath of the H-hits paladin at that point. Here for the good times, here for all the kissing, blessing through
Here for the
kissing.
good times
just gotta
and
be
for
like-
the long time.
Okay.
Oh God.
You
All
made
right.
him the god
What,
of the
what's the
ancients.
what's the last seal?
So there's the Eye of the King, which was taken by the King's Cauldron. We're not sure who contributed that one. Alamir took it, and then Velsum broke it. And then the last one, we actually witnessed its breaking, which was the Gatestone at Gatestone Keep in Wolfreen. So when Velsum took Kokanei's heart out of his chest, he used the power to bring gross yellow lightning down from the sky and break the Gatestone Keep. They opened the portal to the abyss. The rift opened up, and then all of the priests of Pelor and Nissa worked to seal that. That was
Unchecked,
pretty
that would
sweet.
have allowed bad
lot of
God
demons
to come into the material plane.
If ripped big enough, probably. I don't know if Velsum's power was strong enough at that point, but he was gaining power. He had broken the Hand of Io. He had broken the coin. The coin wasn't broken at that point. So the Gatestone Keep was kind of like his kicking off of things. This was right after Callie and Kamea's wedding. So that's when things started to amp up. Was right, and that's what sent us to the the tomb of the Raven Queen in Manta in the first place, because we knew that one of the seals was there, which was the coin. But we had to go find it, and then when we did end up finding it, we found out it was already broken.
Oh, so all of the seals were broken, or they weren't?
No,
Some
they
survived.
weren't. So yeah, so the Hand of
There's
Io
two
was
left.
there.
Right?
Are the key in Kokanei's chest, Ubtao, and then the Grace of the High Priestess. Those are the three.
But that one didn't, like, when we went to fight him, it was just
Yes.
the Titan
Yes.
and Kokanei.
Yes.
So yeah, they got 5 out of 7. They did pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. And so the only
okay.
one that was broken so he had destroyed the Hand of Io, which kicked off the Dawn War, which we'll talk about in a minute. Yes. And then
Because
the Gatestone Keep was the one that he destroyed right after Callie and Kamea's wedding, after he, killed Kokanei to use that power. And then he basically collected the rest of them. While we went to Manta to see about the coin, he got the one from Cinderfall, he got the one from Tor En, and then I can only assume at that point, there was only really 2 left, the Titan and Kokanei, and we were going to them anyway. So all he had to do essentially was kill Kokanei, and the rift would have been opened, or
And
had
that would have been game over. Like
would've
everything
been-
just floods the material plane.
Yeah.
No saving that.
yeah, and that was like with Nepi's power word banish. Essentially, like the spell of power word banish, she had to either go into the abyss and reseal him, essentially, because his chains were breaking in the abyss. She either had to go into the abyss and lock it down, or she had to wait for him to come through and push him back. So those were the 2 options.
And Nepi just went full inside, right? She ran
Yes.
head first into it.
She did, because had we waited any more, I had less confidence about if the Chain Oblivion came onto the material plane. I was like, that's very bad. If I can just go in, if she can just go in and seal him in there, doesn't matter what happens to her, the rift could close behind her instantly, but at least it's done.
At least he never made it onto the material plane, which would have been much, much worse.
Much worse. But I guess this actually leads into the next bit about how the Dawn War started. The essence of the Chained Oblivion, anytime a seal was broken, the essence of the Chained Oblivion started leaking into the world, and that started sowing chaos enough so that more seals could be broken. So it's kind of really like a positive feedback loop. Chaos breeds more chaos, entropy in the inevitable, everything tends towards chaos. So that's what he was hoping for. It's just chaos unleashed.
Now that Nepi resealed him, were more seals created, or do you just have now the 2? What happens if those break?
Yeah, great question. If the 3 seals that remain break, that's bad, and the Chained Oblivion could come back. And also my sense is that there's nobody actively seeking to release him at this point. I feel like at some point we should probably go check on the Titan in the jungle.
Right,
Make
because
sure
it
it's
was
okay.
mostly Velsum and Kokan's dad who are like, this dude needs to be free. And like,
Yes.
that was pretty much the only one who was really in that camp.
It was mostly Velsum, and the Buckwild family, which we'll talk about in a moment, had their own role to play in it. But yes, it was primarily Velsum. So Melsav Bakal, which is his actual name. So Velsum is an, like the letters are switched around. I forget what those are called. But Melsav Bakal was a guy in the city of Amonkhet about 2576 years ago, and he was lower born in the city, and there was a very strong like class system in the city of Amonkhet, and so he craved originally to see his people and like the folks that were lower class and enslaved rise up. There was a king named King Arkad in the city of Amonkhet who was about to declare himself essentially a god, like a god king pharaoh-esque style. So Melsav Bakal was like, that's not okay, we can't do that. And so he made a deal with the Chained Oblivion to stop that. And so the Chained Oblivion, like the King Arkad was basically transporting the Hand of Io through the city of Amonkhet to perform a ceremony of life. We don't know what that is, but my thought is that it might be something about like eternal life, like granting him eternal life, this god.
Like that was gonna maybe make him a god, like what he wanted to be.
Yes, like this Arkad might have wanted to be a god or like wanted the powers of a god. So yeah, so that's what he was hoping for. So through making a pact with the Chained Oblivion, Melsav Bakal basically is like, okay, I have to get a group of people. There are 3 things that need to happen for me to pull this off. So it was kind of a 3-pronged mission, and he hired a bunch of mercenaries to do it. And there was he was leading the charge. He hired all these mercenaries, and then his associate Brandis Buckwild was the one who was essentially our liaison, helping carry everything out. And Brandis Buckwild is obviously longtime ancestor of Kokanee Buckwild, now Kokanee Lightkeeper. So we met Brandis this one shot, The Adventures in Amonkhet, was Tim's birthday last year. Was this huge one shot that he planned. There was like 12 of us sitting in my living room. We were all just like one shot characters level, I think level 4 or level 5. Level 5, yeah. So that's where Sir Herbert.
That's all it takes to destroy the world is level 5.
Just a bunch of level 5, just one shot characters. Yeah.
5 level 5 adventurers can destabilize any government.
That's probably true.
Proven time and time and again.
Time and time again. So the only contact that these mercenaries had was through Brandis, and he had basically, he was similar looking to Alamir, more rugged, as though he'd spent a long time in the desert, was scarred and looking like he'd been through torture of some kind, similar to Kokanee. And so he was leading this like mercenary group that were essentially going to kick off the revolution against King Arkad and this uprising. So the group was charged with 3 tasks to help start the revolution, and they were each paid 100 platinum for their involvement. Sean, you were at this one shot. Do you remember the 3 tasks?
Absolutely. Ring a bell.
Yes.
That was my task. Go through the sewers.
Yes.
Capture a princess.
Yes. Yes, you got it.
There we go.
Oh, I'm so happy.
All right.
So
go
yeah,
Sean.
Go Sean. So the first task was to break into the sacred bell tower of Rekta in the ancient part of the city, and there were 4 adventurers on that. There was Ivy Mimosa, a wood elf ranger, Durlus Michelangelo, a Triton druid, Nooks, who was a half-orc fighter, and Crannies, a half-orc sorcerer. And they maneuvered through a series of puzzles and traps and made it to the top of the bell tower, rang the bell, and then they made it back to the hideout. Group 2 went through the sewers, and as the Hand of Io was being transported through the city, the riots started, and they were able to like reach up essentially through the bottom of a hollowed out cart and steal the Hand of Io. And there was 3 folks who did that. There was Tabaxi, a Tabaxi fighter, Chef High Kicker, a Goliath barbarian, and Etcher, a Warforged paladin of Arathis. So they maneuvered a bunch of traps. There was a bunch of whirling saw blades that happened in these sewers, and they stopped the procession carrying the hand of Io, and they were able to steal it and transport it back to Melsov's hideout. And then the third group, who both Sean and I were a part of.
Which was just the best group. I'm just remembering the characters in it,
Yes.
and Adam DeMarco was in this one. And
yes.
anyways, I'll let you tell it.
Our job was to retrieve Princess Dela, but it was a fake kidnapping because she was the love interest of Melsov. And so it was our job to basically place a purple flag on the rooftop of a shop in the Grand Bazaar and fake the kidnapping of Princess Dela off of a rooftop garden. So in that group was Falcon, a Kenku monk, helmed by Sean. There was Girk Berkman, who was an Otterfolk bard, if I remember right, and that was Adam. There was
Adam Lucas.
Adam Lucas, yes. There was Sir Herbert the Mighty, who was my Aquiqui paladin, and then there was Paul Blart Malkop.
I believe his name was pronounced Paul Blart. Wait, because it was like
Paul
Blart to Malkop.
Yes, that was
like,
right. Yes, yeah.
It was Paul Blart Malkop, but fantasyized.
And he was a half-orc gunslinger, and with ties to Arathis. So we had to maneuver through these three stores. The first one we encountered was named.
Wait,
go ahead,
sorry,
Sean.
I have to break this down. So in universe, there might be a historical reenactment called Paul Blart Malkop about the adventures and journeys of Paul Blart Malkop.
Yes.
Like that is a play that could actually exist.
Absolutely.
And Paul Blart Malkop 2, which everyone agrees is not as good, but watches anyways.
They watch anyway because the first one was so good.
Was so endearing.
So endearing. So we had
to man on a Segway. What's not to like?
We had to maneuver through a bunch of the Grand Bazaar, and we went to 3 stores. Or 2 of them we went to, but I forget the name of the third one. We went to a store called Hammer and Barrel, which was the gun shop of the legendary gunmaker Mara Bell, whose body we found in the Forbidden Tomb, and she was the one who made the first guns of Arathis. And Kokanei's gun, the Will of Arathis is the name of his gun, was actually mounted on the wall in that shop while we were in there. And then we went into Erkin's Antiques, and fun fact, Erkin is the platinum guy. Like same platinum guy. The platinum guy that we have been encountering over and over again. We encountered him in Sigil. We've seen him in Wolfreen.
Is he the one taking your money? Or do you guys think that he's the one that's taking all of your money?
I'm pretty sure he's related to whatever's happened with all of our stolen money.
Because he's trying to uplift Task,
yes.
The Platinum Dragon.
Not the Platinum Dragon, but a dragon who is likes gemstones and likes platinum, but is not Bahamut, who is the Platinum Dragon.
Oh, okay. They might have to have a fight just over branding.
Yeah, if we get who gets to be the true Platinum Dragon. And so we were in that store, and that's where Falcon found the Deck of Many Things, and you pulled I think it was the Don John card, and you got transported to a extra little plane. It was very sad. I was very
Here's
sad.
my favorite thing about this character. It was very dumb. It was a Kenku monk, because Kenkus can only repeat things they've heard, and I just had a Super Smash Bros. Melee soundboard of Captain Falcon, and so the character was just Captain Falcon. But what that means is he is still alive in some pocket dimension somewhere. So if we ever find him, Tim can do a perfect impression of Falcon, because he just needs a soundboard.
So funny
He doesn't have to be it. He can just.
I think this was one of the very first times you were playing with us regularly, I think, at that point, Sean, but you brought the soundboard with you too, and you had to turn it down because my little one was sleeping, and you were like, "Oh, I can't have this loud." I was like, "Probably not." It was very funny.
He was a very soft-spoken Kenku.
Soft-spoken, but there was a lot of punch. Falcon punch. It was great.
Oh, how does one be a soft-spoken Captain Falcon?
You just turn the volume down.
You got to turn your internal volume down.
So it's a lot of punch, fucking kick. Like there's a baby in the other room. Yes.
It's very
The
radio
best-
show host, Captain Falcon.
Something you learn that's, I think Falcon was, okay, this is what this episode's about, is my one-shot character one time, but he genuinely did teach me a lesson, because Captain Falcon doesn't really have any ways to answer in the negative. And so playing Falcon, like as a character, he just had to say yes to everything. Because Falcon has
yes
like
and.
3 different yes, like that's his thing. And then he has one no, which is when he falls off the map and he goes, oh no. And so that's like not a casual way to say no to something. So people are like, should we go this way? The first idea was always yes. And so like, especially in a one shot where you just have to move along, Falcon was just a great motivator, because like someone would pitch an idea and be like, yes, because like, here's a secret, guys. I mean, we spent a lot of time dicking around, like trying to figure out what we want to do. It doesn't matter what you do in D&D. It all works out because you have a DM writing the story as you go. There's no right answer. So like Falcon just being like yes to everything, I was like,
delightful.
There's a secret there.
The ultimate yes and.
When in doubt, for a one shot, just say yes to everything.
When in doubt, just get a soundboard.
I was going to say have a Captain Falcon's soundboard.
Or just any soundboard. Just play Kenku. Have a soundboard.
So we, after you got transported away with the Donjon card, we paid Erkin off, went upstairs, planted the flag, and then across the rooftop we saw Princess Dela in the garden. I had bought, Sir Herbert had bought a cape of the Mountebank, which is probably the same one that Kokanee wears now. From my understanding, it's the same cape of the Mountebank. So he leapt his way over to her and then transported her back to Melsav's hideout. Once everything was in place, Group 1 rang the bell in the bell tower of Rekta. Riots started breaking out throughout the city with screams echoing throughout the temple district. Sir Herbert was the first to arrive back with Dela, and we saw Melsav standing over these 3 items, which we actually found out to be his phylacteries, which were
this was the rod of Skamoodle.
Isilme, the staff of Isilme.
That's the one.
Yes, so it's the moon staff.
Spooky pants.
Yes, Spooky's pants. The spooky pants, yes.
The spooky pants. And the final one, because we had to destroy it.
Yes.
Is the locket of I love you.
It was actually a pendant with a large black stone in it. So yes, the locket of I love you. Absolutely. And so we saw, Sir Herbert saw this energy emanate from him into the items. The items became translucent and they disappeared, and his face became really gaunt and hollow. The sewer team arrived back with the chest holding the hand of Io. Melsav opened it and he took out a blade and he stabbed Dela. And she
was into it, which was very weird for everyone involved.
She was very into it. We were all very shocked.
No one was. There's like 12 people in a room and Tim giving everyone the heebies.
Yeah, it was some big heebie energy. And so then her blood appeared to be acidic and started melting the hand of Io. And then we heard a rumbling as the rest of the crew arrived back, and then this fight popped off. We ended up fighting Velsum or Melsav, and Etcher, the Warforged Paladin, got the kill, and his body was torn apart, and then these chains rose up from the floor and then wrapped around the pieces of him and drawn the essence back into the phylacteries. And then yellow light and clouds started swirling everywhere, same as we were seeing in Bakal, all of the yellow sky. And then the underground tunnel system that we were in started to collapse. So we had to make our way out of there. And then Brandis Buckwild felt pain in his chest and he looked down and he saw this swirl, the symbol of the chain oblivion, essentially branded into his chest, and which bound the Buckwild bloodline to serve Velsum and the chained oblivion. And so it bound the Buckwild bloodline to serve the chained oblivion and Velsum, but we found later this was also some part of the deal that Brandis made. This wasn't just something he said no to and just happened. There was some deal that he made, but we don't have any idea what that deal was. And that's what kicked off the Dawn War. So the hand of Io was broken, and it allowed the influence of the chained oblivion to come back into the world.
And so how did that translate to the betrayer gods getting cabooted and the primordials getting cabooted?
Great question. So when the chained oblivion's influence came back into the world, it essentially turned the primordials first. So the Astitia was the first primordial to be influenced by the chaos of the Chained Oblivion. And
okay.
it was
So,
essentially like, go to war. You're going to
So,
go
like,
to war with the gods.
Chained Oblivion is like, yo, I can't really be here in like physical form, but he's just like literal demon on the shoulder being like, hey, Astitia,
Hey, you should go
what
to
if
war.
you had other people's shit? Like, other people have great shit. What if you just killed them and took it? Like,
what if you went to war? Like, it was essentially a little whisper on the shoulder of what if you went to war. So Astitia was the first to be influenced, and she convinced her brother Garrix, the fire elemental or fire primordial, to go to war against the prime material gods. Groombar was then convinced by Astitia and Garrix, as the threat grew and the war started that Astitia and Garrix were raging, started encroaching on the people that swore allegiance to Groombar, which were the Goliaths in the Sisters Mountains, in the northeast of Wolfar. So that were kind of his people. So as the war started getting closer to them, he became like worried about that, and Astitia and Garrix were more able to convince him to go to war. And he felt duty to protect them. He didn't want to go to war. He felt like he had to. And then Akkadi, seeing her brother going to war, felt duty to him to protect him. And Akkadi was the last to enter the Dawn War. So the war raged on for some time, and the primordials essentially raised up the people and the creatures under their influence, and then waged war on the people that worshipped the prime material gods. And then after that was happening for a very long period of time, the gods felt it necessary to intervene and often started taking mortal form to intervene.
So the betrayer gods were not involved in the Dawn War.
They were, but they often were on the side of the primordials. They were on the
naturally.
side.
But
yes.
Like, if there's a battle, we got Garrix being all fire.
Yeah.
It was like Tiamat there being like, also fire, but poison, lightning, and ice and acid.
There's not a lot written about the Dawn War, so maybe. But we have a sense that there was like the prime material, like gods that we all know and love, the main pantheon, were on this side protecting their people against the primordials and the betrayer gods, who sought their own means and chaos and stuff like that.
Okay.
So some of the gods were more eager to enter the war than others. Pelor was very quick to get in the war to defend mankind and like people. He was very quick to get in and do that. Arathis was really, really reluctant to go to war, as she saw war as the death of civilization, but also a time of great innovation. So she was reluctant to go in, but once she was in, she was in. Melora was really, really reluctant to go to war. War is the death of the natural world in her eyes. And she also felt that she owed the primordials a lot, because the primordials created the world and she is the goddess of the wilds. So she felt some sort of obligation and a bit of a debt to them. Bane, the god of war, rose very quickly in power with a lot of people going to war. So praying to Bane for guidance and praying to Bane for swiftness or whatever in battle. And then the Chained Oblivion actually was involved in this war. So he was able to, leech his way out into the world as harsh as he could. And he initially sided with the primordials, but in the final days of the Dawn War actually begged for forgiveness from the prime material gods to save himself, and was banished to the abyss as punishment and resealed away.
All right.
Yes. So there is not a lot that we know about the like actual stuff that happened in the Dawn War. We know about there's a couple moments we know that happened. So right before Akkadi got into the war, Arathis tried to convince her not to. But it didn't work. Kokani had a vision of this as he was coming to start knowing his faith. So Arathis really, really tried to, there was this big meeting in the clouds, with Akkadi kind of swirling around and Arathis standing there, basically being like, Kokani saw this vision. He couldn't quite hear what they were saying, but he caught a couple of the words that Arathis was saying, and she was basically trying to convince Akkadi, please don't do this, don't go to war. But Akkadi ended up going in. And we also know that Akkadi was actually the first of the primordials to surrender. So she surrendered to Arathis. So they had a bond. And so the meeting took place between Akkadi and Cord, and Pelor and Arathis were all present. Arathis pushed those other gods to take mercy on Akkadi, and was basically like, she was the last to join. She did the set of duty. Please, we can't punish her. And Arathis actually helped Akkadi create the plane of air.
Oh,
So that's why there's all of
Okay.
the structure and innovation there.
oh, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
those birds can eat their yum.
So those birds can
They're
fly around
bugs
and
and
eat their
stuff.
bugs and drink their smoothies. Yeah. So
Wait a second, because they're all civilized because they got Arathis in the
Yes.
airplane. There are 100% air elemental plane of air bug farms that we just haven't been to.
we just have not stumbled
There are
upon
entire
those.
islands of just like, what's a yummy, like, I guess worms, like so many worms. Probably like
Yeah.
if it's like a lot of like starling birds, like just like mosquito fields where they just like fly through and just like yum 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 yum. They must go nuts for that. Like,
I mean,
just like
I-
the moth mines.
the
Why are they?
mines
They're
of the-
underground moths.
Well, because they like it dark, obviously.
Absolutely.
How do you have dark in the
middle of a cloud.
right in the
It's the
earth,
elemental
in
plane
the
of
air
Earth.
elemental plane?
Yeah, so you have to hide all that because otherwise they're like, oh, look at that sun. I don't like that.
I mean,
So,
I
like-
remember when Neppy was asking Chi about the like burying Aegis, the displaced, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we can't bury anything, but we do have hanging catacombs underneath the temple. We
Yeah.
just will like hang you under." That's like innovative. I love that.
That's where they keep all the moths as well.
Yes, that's where the
Look,
moths
next
come
time
from.
we go back to the elemental plane of air, I'm like, show me the bug farms.
Show us the bug farms. I mean, I
And
feel like
Callie has to come.
she has to come because Callie
Yes.
doesn't do spiders or
I just want to see Lennon
bugs.
be freaked out by the existence of bug farms.
I mean, we do have to go back to the air elemental plane. Well, at least Neppy has to go because I kind of have to warn Chi about that the Matron of Vengeance might have Akkadi on her hit list.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. We should probably
Sure up the bug farms because that's what she'll
sure
hit
up those
first.
dang bug farms. That's the first place to go. So we know that meeting happened between Akkadi and Arathis. After that, Groombar surrendered shortly after Akkadi. And present at that meeting was Akkadi, Groombar, Moradin, and Arathis. And so they sealed him away to wander the wastes of the earth plane. He was no longer allowed on the material plane. So that was his punishment for his involvement in the and in Akkadi, when she agreed to surrender initially in her meeting with Arathis, she said that she would surrender if the gods went easy on her brother. So she did this to save him from a worse fate. So rather than being banished somewhere else, he was like, you're not allowed. You have to wander the wastes. You just can't be on the material plane anymore. And then Garrix, we know, was like the legend says that he was slumbering somewhere, slumbering in fire, I think was the lore. Tim can correct me on that if I'm wrong. And then Estitia was doomed to the depths, and we don't know anything else about that.
So we wake up Garrix.
Yeah.
Big volcano.
Big fire bad. Yeah,
big fire
bad.
Cinderfall be cinder everywhere.
Yeah,
With
and
that.
Cinderfall be like cinder gone. Like it'll
Yeah.
just be buried under a pile of ash. The volcano is literally called the King's Cauldron.
Yeah, so he's in that.
Pretty sure. Like he's probably like that, I'm guaranteeing is a portal to the fire elemental plane. Like that's my speculation.
Don't want to go there
No.
because it's on
and
fire.
Yeah, it sounds like literally everything's on fire.
I mean, we've been in that temple. We've been right next to that volcano.
Yeah.
We have we've also dropped a very scary set of armor into that lava. And a couple phylacteries of a lich. So like I
They're just
hope
sitting safely on top.
yeah. I hope that wasn't a bad idea on our parts, but we did it.
That's probably fine.
It's probably fine. That was the night that our D&D stream was on fire. It was fine. But like
Good
they
times.
worship Garrix there at the King's Cauldron. He's like that's who they worship, the high priestess and stuff. All their worship is to Garrix. So that's
Do they want to wake him up? What does that look like?
we've never been. Like we've seen High Priestess Thecoria Doomwing at Callie and Kamea's wedding reception because she was there for the coronation of Kamea, which we didn't go to because we were off trying to save Kokanee. But like they like that is just alive and well. Worship of Garrix is just alive and well on the material plane. So yeah.
I'm just curious whether it's like we worship him to keep him sleeping forever, or we worship him so that someday he may rise peacefully and not kill us all.
Or maybe he rises not so peacefully and just doesn't kill us.
Yeah.
My sense is that I don't know. I have actually no idea. We have no idea of their.
We should have
practices.
another like regal wedding so we can schmooze with her again. See
yeah.
what?
Oh yeah. We should 100% force royal people to get. No, we didn't force anybody to get married. But yeah, we should have another big wedding.
I mean, we can just establish ourselves as royalty at this point. Like.
I feel like Kamea is the
we'll
only
see how
royalty.
Dresda goes.
Are you going to be king of Dresda? Is Letter's going to be king of Dresda?
I mean, like maybe on paper. Look, the point is, I feel like if we want to meet Doomwing, then we can. If she comes to like fancy weddings, we can make that happen.
Part of the
I'll marry Doomwing. I don't give a shit. Like,
part of the acolyte background is that like I get audience with religious folk. So like Nebby could essentially just be like, I would like an audience with you, please.
Can I come too? Because I want to ask her out.
You want to ask the high priestess of Garrix out? Letters wants to ask her out.
I'm firebrand. She's into fire. I feel like.
But she's a dragonborn.
There may be sparks.
She's a dragonborn.
There might be on brand.
That would break your entire, like his entire no scales, no skin rule.
Obviously he doesn't want. Look, I've said it once. I'll say it before.
No
Letters
skin?
is only sexually attracted to Minotaur and some furbolgs.
Furbolgs. Yeah.
He wants to ask her. He just wants to go on he flirts with everybody.
Yes, he does.
He'll flirt with he'll flirt with Scales. Like he just wants to go on a date. I think it'd be a nice date. They could walk around the caldera.
Light some stuff on fire. It would be
light
nice.
all kinds of things on fire.
If it
we
happens
could throw
to
things
turn into a wedding, so be it.
So be it.
Like
just a nice
fancy wedding. Look, I just love weddings, and if I have to be the one getting married to have another big fancy wedding, then so be it.
We've had 2 weddings in this campaign, and both of them have just been so delightful. Just so great.
But I want one where everybody shows up. One was very small and intimate, which is lovely.
Yes.
But I want, if we do it, everyone's coming to Cinderfall. Like we're having like those like desserts that's like the volcano cake, or like all the stuff.
I'm not sure if that's perfect or in poor taste. I can't.
Like it's gonna be like a week-long thing. There's gonna be a battle of the bands.
Yeah.
And like the losing band gets thrown in the volcano.
Of course.
High stakes battle of the bands is unreal because those kids are literally playing for their lives.
So the winner just gets not thrown in the volcano.
No, just the one loser gets like you just want to be better than everyone. Just better than the worst.
Just don't be last.
Don't
you know what I
last.
mean? Just don't be last.
Winner gets to pick who goes in the volcano.
Oh,
it's survivor rules.
Oh gosh, that's awful. I hate that, but
so
I love
bad.
it also. So yeah,
Dude,
so that
Cinderfall's
was
a dark place. That's not my idea. That's my fiance. She's like, we need to throw people in the volcano. Look, what does volcano worship look like if not throwing people in the volcano?
So Thecoria Doomwing is related, as we talked about the other time last week. She is related to one of Zacchus's associates, the Dragonborn Syndrome Doomwing, who was trying to bring back chaos all over the place. So I feel like I don't think this high priestess is good. I don't think she's gonna want to go on a date.
Yeah, she wants to throw bands into the volcano.
The fire, right?
Like that sounds like a bad thing, but I can work with that.
You can work with that, right? If anybody can work with it, I think Letters can work with it. Yeah. There was only one real thing that I'm getting us back on track. The Dawn War. We're still getting there.
I thought we did it already.
No.
Oh.
We still have a little bit more.
I thought we Dawn Ward.
We're not.
I thought we Dawn Ward.
We're almost done. We've almost Dawn Ward.
Oh, we done. We done Ward.
Yeah.
Ward.
So the Ubtao, the lesser Titan of jungles, is actually the only Titan who is allowed on the prime material plane.
Because he fought with Melora?
He did fight alongside the prime material gods. Yeah.
Melora,
and he was embraced.
Please.
He was embraced by them, and he was deemed worthy of the continued existence on the material plane, and was also a seal. So that's great. And he now slumbles in the jungles of Slumbers in the jungles of Chlor.
Slumbles in the jungles is
Yeah.
nice.
100%.
So you're saying like Huffa, like fought with the primordials?
Oh, the dust
Dust
primordial?
Titan?
The dust
The
titan?
Dust Titan of Huffa?
Huffeth.
Huffa?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Tim on that one. I don't know if Tim is in
Aw.
the chat still, but he can confirm. I don't know if he can confirm or
That's too
deny because we don't
bad.
have any lore on Huffeth.
That
Huffeth
sucks.
has only
We
been a
know
thing for
very,
like a
very
week.
little of Hoffith.
I mean, he's a Titan, so he's kind of been around as long, like briefly after the primordials existed. He was the
Right.
first Titan they made. It was like the
Did you just
practice one.
sneeze? Did you just
Well, it
sneeze
was-
and that's what happened? Like
It was Garrix and Cody. They're like,
The
"Whoa,
test,
oh,
the
whoops."
test one.
Yeah, the test one. He didn't come out right,
wouldn't
but he
Groom,
did come out first.
Wouldn't Groombar and Akadi be more of the dust one, like dust, like earth and air, rather
Yeah.
than fire and air?
Well, I'm thinking of Ash. Yeah, sorry,
Ah.
that. He didn't even make it into the books.
Didn't even make
But yeah,
it.
Akadi and Garrick. Wait, Groombar.
Yes.
They like bumped shoulders, passing each other. Like, oh no, we made life.
And the
Wait.
noise was Huffeth. That was it.
It's just the rubbing of
Gods.
fabric.
The rubbing of God's.
But yeah, that was the
clothing
thing. Was
together.
like, oh, if we like our stuff touched and we made a thing, do you want to make like more of these and maybe like a whole place to keep them? Like that's how the Prime Material plane got started. They're like,
So it was basically a
red.
fish tank of just
Yeah, they were like touching stuff and like, oh, we made
They were
mud.
touching stuff. We
made a
mud.
mud man. We made a mud man called Gooby. And like,
So when the
and,
lore
like, where
comes
are we
out
gonna
about the
put 'em?
mud man named Gooby, this is
Yeah,
where you've heard
the
it here,
mud type
folks.
Yeah. Oh shit,
Gooby.
where are we putting
You
Gooby?
heard it here, folks. I feel like Gooby is just gonna be like Goobi, and it's now we have too much power on the show. We gotta stop.
You got Gooby, Huffeth. What was Usmodius?
Usmodius, yes.
Usmodius.
Yeah.
Like those are the first three. Like it took them a while before they could figure out how to give things form.
Yes.
Like
took in some time to like work out the
Ubtao
kinks.
Ubtao was the last one, and he is absolutely like he's the youngest, he's the baby, he's easily the favorite.
Yes.
The fucking primordials don't even keep that a secret.
And he's just sleeping. He's just having little sleepy times in the jungles of Chlor. So that's great. Gooby. So the Dawn War culminated into. We're just gonna laugh about Gooby for the next half an
The
hour.
mighty titan Gooby. He slumbers.
Wouldn't he just like if he was he the Mud Titan? He would just turn
is
into
Titan of mud. Yeah.
right. Okay. I hope Tim is not listening at this point. He's gone at this
I
point.
so hope next session.
When we're at level 20, the like to get to the big boss, the mini boss is gonna be Usmodius, Gooby, and Huffeth all working together to stop the party.
So
And
ooze,
we're just-
mud, and dust. We're just
Yeah.
all
It's just gonna be the stickiest, ickiest.
It's just gonna
itchiest
look like Play-Doh on a
fight.
carpet. It's gonna
oh,
be the worst.
worst. As the parent of a toddler, that is the worst. Play-Doh and carpet is so bad.
It's like when you mix all of them together and you get like this weird one non-color. with-
Yes. I love that.
Gooby!
Gooby. So the
That's my fucking campaign 2 character. I'm
Gooby?
playing a paladin of Gooby.
Gooby.
A mud
Wow. A mud paladin. What even race are you? Like what?
paladin. I'm a pig person.
A pig. Do they
Oh,
have them?
absolutely.
We don't have pig people yet, but we
We
should.
do
But we
now.
should. Now we should.
They're called
Gosh.
snorkels.
We have too much power on the show. So the Dawn War
Look,
culminated.
It only exists once Tim actually brings it into the world.
right.
If Tim
right.
likes the existence of snortles, then not to be confused with turtles, snortles are the
Snortles.
snorts.
Snortles.
Right.
How much stuff have you brought to life on this show?
We haven't actually encountered anything that I've invented here in universe.
I mean, granted,
yet.
Giannis did say a zoo, and then the next session there was literally a zoo.
I was gonna say literally the next thing.
Okay.
Was,
Yes.
The astral zoo that
The
exists.
astral, or the zoo and sigil, technically. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost there. We're almost done the Dawn War. So the Dawn War culminated in 2 main events.
Just watching Sean have a thought.
Still laughing about Gooby.
No, it's just me resisting the urge to get us off track because I'm respecting that you're trying to do this.
I only have 2. I only have like 4 more things, and then we're
The
finally
closer
done.
you get to ending, the bigger the
worse it
draw
gets.
for
The worse
me
it gets.
to derail is. But I'm
I love
trying
it.
to
You're doing
trying to
so
keep it
good.
down.
You're doing so. You've actually gotten so much right. This, like, you've been very on point with your lore.
That's
so, like,
because
well done.
most of the creatures were from the 4E monster manual. 4E was good.
4E was good. Gotten so much right, and yet so much gooby.
So much gooby.
So much gooby.
So the Dawn War culminated in 2 main events. One of them was the siege on Manta, which we saw in the room of Pelor in the tomb of the Raven Queen. So at that battle, Garrix fought the Raven Queen, and the Raven Queen was killed with a blade that had runes of the Chained Oblivion on it that was dripping in poison, likely that was given by Zahir.
Yes, that's what we've heard of him. Yeah.
Yes, and there was also some other aspects to it, but we really don't know anything else about it. We know runes of the Chained Oblivion and green poison signifying Zahir. And now the matron of we never have had that dagger in our hands, so we don't know anything about it. But the matron of vengeance currently has this dagger. And the runes on it are different though. The runes glow red now. So that seems bad. That seems really
red is bad color.
Who is the matron of vengeance?
The Raven Queen reborn, essentially. The one
Raven
that we
Queen
have
Redux.
We have
Electric
Raven Queen. Really, it's Raven Queen Reloaded.
That's good. I like that. Raven Queen Reloaded, RQR. That's great. And then, so we don't know how the dagger was made. The victory in Manta.
I bet someone fucking tricked Morden to make it, and he's really ashamed of it.
Super ashamed about it. I don't know if that. Yeah, maybe. I wonder if any of the other betrayer gods had a hand in that too.
Here's what I'm gonna make a pitch.
Please pitch it.
Because Zahir needed to be involved to get it all poisoned. I'm willing to bet Tiamat, Chained Oblivion was like, yo, Zahir, you think you can make something that kills a god? He's like, fuck yeah. But I'm not a people person. I'm an assassin. And they're like, hey, Tiamat, get over here. It's like, yeah, you're good with people. It's like, yeah, I love talking to people. I got 5 heads. I can talk to at least 10 people at once. Like, yeah, I love that. And so Tiamat was like, hey, Moradin. And he's like, what do you want, Tiamat? And he's like, I've got 5 heads. Tight. Moradin, I know it's undwarvy or whatever. Daggers are undwarvy. He's like, hell yeah, we make tiny hammers. That's the equivalent of daggers. He's like, but what
artisanal hammers, if you will.
Yeah, artisanal hammer, bespoke hammers. What if you made some a sick dagger to these specific specifications? I don't know, but we'll pay you for it. Oh fuck! Usually that doesn't work on me, but you're using your greedy god powers on me. I guess I will. And they gave him something, and he regrets it, but he still keeps it as a reminder of never make things that are undwarvy. Yeah. Bladed weapons.
Don't make deals with 5-headed dragons. Just don't do that. That seems bad. Don't do
Never
that.
cut a deal with a dragon, period.
Okay.
Don't cut a deal with a dragon.
So the victory that the Garrix had and the death of the Raven Queen in Manta emboldened the Titans to attack Caradoc. So Astitia actually flooded the peninsula in the northeast of Wolfar and cut Manta off from the rest of the island, essentially creating the Forgotten Expanse. And yeah, so that was the first, one of the last stages of the Dawn War. And then the attack on Caradoc was the other big one. So the Caraxian Empire was losing. They were just losing, and they were so overwhelmed. Caradoc was the last stronghold, and the Ice Titan, Ishfael, stormed the city. And as it was looking really dire, Arathis manifested in physical form to defend her city, and she managed to kill the Titan, but the Titan fell backward and impaled itself on the spire of the palace in Caradoc, which ruptured its heart and released this giant icy blast that flash froze the city and technically separated Arathis from her divine form. So her divine soul was pushed into the ice plane, and her body that she had taken form in was destroyed, and she was assumed dead.
So the Titan of the ice plane, no longer alive. So the ice plane is up for grabs, huh?
It's not. Arathis has made that her home plane now.
Okay.
Because remember
That's
when
sort
we
of like
went.
cosmic hermit crabbing.
Yeah. So remember when we went to go get Kokanee.
Yes, I do remember this. Yeah.
Yes, and we were like, "Ooh, this place looks different." She had like made it like there was carved hallways and doors and workshops and stuff like that.
Put down a couple throw rugs, really tied the room together.
She really put down some roots in the ice plane and was basically like, "I'm going to seal this place off. You can't come back here because it's my plane now, but you have to go get Cogman so that I can fix Kokanee. You have to do that." And so we did that. So we could turn him into a Terminator. Yeah.
He's not a Terminator. He's, a collection of sentient gears underneath tightly stretched skin.
Very thin. So we actually don't have a clear understanding of how the Dawn War ended, but Tim has hinted to me that there is one event that ended the Dawn War, but we don't know what it is. There is one thing that ended the Dawn War, and
the betrayal of Gooby.
It was Gooby. It was absolutely
Gooby. It was 100% Gooby. I have no idea what it is, and that kills me. I want to know what it is that ended the Dawn War, but I just don't know what that is. And so we're almost there. I have 3 more points.
I want Gooby to exist because I just want to know the voice that Tim is going to apply to Gooby.
I feel it's like low and like rumbly, but like wet. That's
what an awful way to describe someone's voice.
But like it can't be anything else. This is a giant mud.
Very rugged but moist.
Just like a little bit wet and moist. Yeah, that's what it is.
Always needs to clear his throat. Can never seem to get it.
It's like very phlegmy.
It makes you have to clear your throat from listening to it.
Whereas like Huffeth's voice is just like very light and airy, but like with a hint of cough. Like there's just like you're constantly having to clear your throat. But yeah. So the last section I have here is how the gods were affected and how it changed the world. So the Raven Queen was, in essence, she was killed, but shunted away to the negative energy plane by Nepthisiket. Arathis was her body and her divine soul were separated, so she was shunted into the ice plane and assumed dead and lost from history. Nepthisiket began building the tomb of the Raven Queen, which took her 200 years to build, to help pay penance for her sister's betrayal, of Vasilis's betrayal to because she was the one who killed the Raven Queen, with the knife. And then Nepthisiket went and planted the bow of Thalbask on Ishion, and then all of that stuff about her making her way over to Katona to start Temple Philinus. And then the Caraxian Empire was destroyed. Arathis was forgotten, and the people of the continent were displaced. So there were gathering of peoples in Wulfrene and in Svel-En. Wulfrene was founded by Myri Wulfren, who led the people there, and then the En family founded Svel-En, to my knowledge. And like King Evard En is the descendant of the monarchy there, and his daughter Mira, who will take over the throne. And then all of the elven refugees settled in Fawe Tavar. So the high elves and the wood elves settled in Fawe Tavar, because the forest that is like around Fawe Tavar and Shinkik, the Keyless Expanse, was not as grown in as it was, but it is now more grown in. So Fawe Tavar is kind of like backed onto forest. And that is all of the information I have on the Dawn War. So like Chatwater, we got there.
We got there.
We did it.
We Dawn got there.
We Dawn Warred and we got there through many hurdles and lots of talk about Gooby. We got there.
I think we should come up with Titan trading cards. Because
trading cards.
As far as I can tell, we've established like Ubtao and then that big icy boy.
Ishvael,
but the rest are up for grabs. And I think when we get Tim on here, I would love to just be like, let's just lightning round. What is the Magma Titan? Like, what is that? And they should all have fun names and fun relationships. I guarantee you
they probably already all have names and all have relationships.
Are they fun and hilarious?
I mean, they're probably pretty good.
Has added joy to my life.
That's so good.
And I hope to the joys of others.
Yes.
Because that's what Gooby... Look, here's the thing. Mud, gross, super fun, though. Like, once you accept that you're just going to get messy...
Just get messy.
Look,
Just do
here's the
it.
thing. Gooby, like, of all the Titans, is the party Titan. Like,
He's down.
because, like, Mud is, like, thick and, like, keeps it, like, warm. Like, it's...
Just
You guys never just got, like, real muddy?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, yes, but like the descriptor of like mud being warm was just not.
Yeah, but it keeps you warm.
It keeps you warm.
yeah, dude. Well, his mud. It's like stepping into a bath. It's like spa
Is
mud.
it like
Mud
so
bath
he's
is
like
a
a
thing.
spa mud is what I
Well,
like.
that's the way he keeps it. Like where he's around, that's quality mud. Like you get like a mud, like when he fucking smacks you in the face, mud facial. Like your skin.
Wow, your skin is
afterwards,
just radiant.
glowing. Like
I love
Gooby.
that.
Glowing with hot mud.
What a
That's
guy.
my Gooby paladin. No.
And no.
Unreal.
I have been waiting all night for something to happen, and that was it. Thank you so much, Adam. You have impeccable timing. Oh
what
my
a
God.
screen grab!
I don't know what that
Oh
is.
my god, it fits so perfectly in.
It's
I didn't
Boss
even-
Nass. Think of his voice where he's like, like the way he speaks. It's obviously how Gooby speaks.
Gooby is now
Sweat.
voiced by the incomparable Brian Blessed. Like,
Yes.
oh, what
Just
a
like
gift
low,
to humanity.
not gravelly, just wet. Just wet.
No, thank you. No,
No, thank
I
you.
can do without that one.
Wait, hold up. Because how many did the water elementals, how many oozy, like, goopy Titans are there? Because there's Oozmodius, the ooze Titan.
Yes.
There's Goopy, the mud Titan.
Yes.
Like, what else did water mix with that would be like
Water
kind
and
of yucky?
fire made steam.
Oh, well, that's not that goopy. That's more like
Definitely not goopy, but
Yeah.
Goopy.
that'd be
yeah.
like Hysandra or some shit.
oh,
Steam
so
isn't fun.
Steam isn't fun. It's just
Like Hysandra, just like that's like Steam is one of the cool ones, and she's like hot headed. She's like, I'm Hysandra. I'm here. Now I'm here. Like fuck you, man. Like
Strong breeze. She's going.
she's not.
I invented this thing just now, and I already hate it. Like
And I already hate it. So much
God.
power, Sean. I love it. I love it. So we have Hysandra.
yeah.
Steam.
Okay,
Titan.
fuck it. Yeah, we're doing it. We're
Goopy.
making the
Are we
cards.
doing
right now.
it?
What
We're
else we got?
doing
What's
it.
another water thing? Water and
Well, we have water and earth, which is
Yep.
Gooby.
oh, so we got the three.
We've got the three. So there's fire and what's fire and air?
More
Like-
fire.
There's
That-
also the primordial plane of ooze, which is actually a plane. It's like
It's its own
it's like a
plane?
subsidiary, like offshoot of mud, but it's ooze. It's not.
Yeah, the ooze plane is one of the. We can actually travel to all of
Yeah,
these
we can go to
places
these
with
places.
the talisman.
Ooze has its own plane.
Yeah,
Yes,
ooze
there
has
is
its
a
own
plane.
plane. There's like because they're
Led by
they're
Osmodius,
like,
obviously.
well, they're
Oozmodius.
they're para and elemental planes. So like
Yeah.
ooze.
So then
salts,
does Gooby live in the ooze plane then?
You're
Or
gonna
does
love
he
it
this.
must
live
be the
in
mud.
the
You're
earth?
gonna love this. Gooby and Oozmodius, roommates.
Bros, I love
Absolutely.
it. 100%. They're
Don't
bros.
sit down when you visit their apartment.
Oh god, I like it's just all those like plastic covers on
There's-
things so they slide off.
You just
They can't sit on their own furniture.
there's just stains in places.
Why would they design it that way?
There's just like some stains in places, and you're just like really not sure what that was.
You walk in and everything looks dry.
Oh,
And then you
Ugh.
It's
just
a
sit
welcome
down, you're
mat,
like,
but you step
oh,
on
that
it, it
soaks through
immediately
all three
squishes.
layers.
there's just like
Oh, wow.
squelching. There's just like a squelching noise all over the
It's
place.
just shag carpet.
Oh, it's all the
layers.
thickest carpet.
Oh, guys, we've gotten there. This is what happens when chatWater gets there. You can't
That's
let
what
us
happens when we
get-
don't have Giannis. I'm
Yeah,
This
so
is what
sorry,
happens.
Giannis.
We miss our dad. We miss our dad.
Oh
Miss
my
you,
god.
Giannis.
When dad is away, the children will create.
We'll create Gooby.
We created
Gooby. It's Gooby and Ooze. Adam, we need a theme song for their sitcom. And then
Yeah.
you have fucking Huffeth,
Oh, it is.
Huffeth like coming in like Kramer. And be
She's like
"Oh."
she's like the hot-headed older sister who just comes in and is just like
No, that Hysandra.
oh, Hysandra. Sorry, sorry. Yeah,
Huffeth is the
Huffeth is
Kramer. Hysandra is the Newman, but hot. Hot-headed Newman.
Hot Newman.
Wait,
Yeah.
When your neighbor's being mean and your life just feels too clean, Gooby and Oozmodius are here for you.
How did that just happen? How did that
Chatwater,
not take you months to write?
We got there.
We have to end these. That's the high point. We got it. We got to bail out.
I think we have to bail out now.
Thank you all for coming.
No. Wait. I have one thing.
Okay.
Please come hang out with us on Saturday, because the more we keep streaming, the more potential there is for Gooby to make it into the universe.
Gooby's already there.
We have like a little bit of an update on what's going to be happening. So last session we ended off a little bit with kind of Blackwater figuring out what they were going to do next. We are actually going to be doing a little bit of a 2-week time jump. So there will be some things that some of the characters will be doing during a 2-week time jump before we go decide what we're going to do next. So we're going to be starting off session with that. So that's very exciting. And then next week on Chatwater, actually, let me look on the schedule here. Actually, next week there is no Chatwater, but we do have something in Monday's place, which is the amazing Tim's birthday one-shot, where we're all dwarves, part of the Stone Ass clan. And we will be live streaming that on Monday at our normal time, DM'd by the incomparable Adam Lucas. So we're very excited about that. We also have another special announcement about Saturday, because we've got some other stuff rolling out in like next week that we're going to tell you about on Saturday. It's very exciting. Unless, Cody, are you wanting to drop it now, or do you want to wait till Saturday?
The new thing?
Yeah, the new thing.
We could drop it now.
If you want to.
Yeah, pretty soon we're going to be rolling out a new show, where it's going to be myself, Sean, Tim, Adam, Giannis, and Matt, I believe, and we're going to be talking about DMing, and it's going to be all about how you run games personally, and kind of, I don't know what your personal style is on that. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Do we have a title for this?
Yes, we do.
It's Behind the Screen.
Yes.
So good. I am so excited for this show. Like, I cannot wait. I'm going to be hanging out in chat modding that one. So I'm very excited to see y'all in there, because I never get the chance to hang out in chat. So I'm very excited about that. And it's so cool to think about, like, we have so many talented folks in this group who run games of all different kinds. So I'm super stoked to hear you folks talk about all the different ways that you run games, and like what stands out for you, and how you deal with stuff like bleed and like all of stuff like that. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to get into that. And most of my experiences with 5e, so I'm interested to talk to Sean about his experience with 4th edition. That's an edition I have no experience with.
Good role play is good role play across the board. It was just how combat worked. And I'll say 5e is a better edition. It's much more balanced. 5e is a masterpiece, but I think 4e is good. I'm gonna say it. Look, I'm gonna be real controversial. I'll take 4e over 3.5. I'll take 4e over Pathfinder. Fucking come at me. Who can keep track of all these fucking +2s and shit? Not me.
That's true.
I don't give a shit. Who needs this much? No, look, I know people who are ride or die for 3.5.
And ride or die for Pathfinder too.
Yeah. Well, they're basically the same thing. Hot take. 3.5 and Pathfinder are basically the same thing.
I feel like the DM show is going to be just full of everyone just with hot takes about certain things, and I am here for it. I am excited.
It's not even the DM show. Like, arguing about like what edition is interesting or good, it fucking sucks. Let's talk about like interpersonal. Like, this is D&D role playing, and like combat is in there as well. Just like, how do we deal with combat? But I don't want it to be like, oh, it's gonna be really cool to have like a 1 CR enemy and like 6 CR3s and like, no, like fucking, that's like fucking D&D roll. Well, maybe this is just okay. I'll be like,
save this energy for the show, Sean. Save this for the show. This is gonna be for the show.
As it develops, we're each gonna have to be our own thing. Like you know, like when you're watching like Queer Eye, like like, you know, like there's like Karamu, and he's like this one. Like, I want I don't know what we're gonna be, but as it goes on, I was like, oh yeah, like Cody is this DM, and like Matt is the bad boy or whatever the fuck. Like,
Oh, Matt is absolutely the bad boy DM.
100%,
100%
big chaotic
So
energy.
good.
And then
love
like
it.
you know, like in the fandom, it's like, ooh, who do you want to be your DM? And like Tim is the obvious favorite because like you know. He's the pretty one. That's the thing.
Tim is favorite. He's the pretty
Tim
one.
is
He's so
the
good at
John
flirting with
Lennon.
all of the PCs.
So fucking good.
So good.
That's one thing that we'll have to ask him about how.
So in a couple weeks, we will actually be having Tim on. But after the one shot episode of Tim's birthday one shot on July 6th, with his actual birthday. So please make sure that you go and wish him happy birthday when that happens. We will be having Adam Lucas come on the show and talk to us about Torin Blackwater and Finnan Aganis. I am very excited to pick his brain about a whole bunch of different stuff with respect to Finnan and Torin. So I am prepping some show notes about that. So that will be after. That will be happening on July 13th. But just keep it posted on our Instagram. We'll tell you everything that happens there. But other than that, I don't have any other announcements because I'm just really excited. I love the show.
Chatwater, we got there.
We got
there.
there. We got there. And now Cody, our thing at the end of the evening is, you know, we don't do the goat salute. We blow kisses. So now we blow kisses to everybody and we say goodnight.
I'm going to invoke a prayer to Gooby.
To Gooby?
That's going to be my thing.
Oh.
From now on, I'm going to say,
Gonna pray
like,
to
good night,
Gooby?
everybody. Can't wait for Gooby to exist.
Gooby
And
loves you.
Gooby loves you.
Gooby loves
Gooby
you.
loves you and wants to give you that fucking good complexion. Good night, everybody. Gooby loves
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Gooby loves
Let
you.
your heart ever be
paladin is
encased
gonna
in
be-
mud.
Good night,
My
you
paladin, my
guys.
Gooby paladin
Let
is
the
going to be
let the
so